welcome to the course on emerging domain electronics engineering. So, in the last lecture we have seen the half wave rectification, and in this lecture, which is lecture 4, we will see the full wave rectification. So, first, what is the definition for full wave rectification? So, a full wave rectifier circuit converts alternating current into the pulsating DC current. So, this is corresponding to rectifiers. So, in such rectifiers, if both positive and negative half cycles of the input AC waveform is rectified, then it is called as full wave rectifiers, and if only the one cycle, means either the positive or the negative peak is rectified, then it is said to be a half wave rectifiers. So, we have the classification of full wave rectifiers as the full wave bridge rectifiers and the center tape full wave rectifier. So, first of all, we will be starting with the full wave bridge rectifier. So, the full wave bridge rectifier circuit consists of 4 diodes placed in this particular manner, and in between we have a resistance, load resistance R, and we are applying an input Vi at this particular nodes. So, if Vi is a sinusoidal waveform having a peak value of Vm, having a time period of, let us say, t. So, we will see that this particular circuit, this particular rectifier, which is a full wave rectifier, it converts both the cycles into the positive cycles. So, first of all, when the positive cycle is considered, means when the input is plus Vm, the maximum value is plus Vm. So, we can see here that the diodes D2 and, let us say, this diode is what we can say diode D3. Both the diodes are on, means diode D2 and diode D3 are in a conducting form, means short circuit. These are short circuit, whereas diode D1 and diode D4, these are acting as open circuit, because these are considered as non-conducting, because when Vi is applied in this particular manner, so this will be more positive with respect to this node. So, the current will flow in this particular direction. So, due to this, diode D1 will be off and diode D2 will be on. So, this is the equivalent circuit. So, if we want to measure the output voltage across the resistance R, then we can see here that V output is nothing but Vi. So, if Vi was plus Vm, so we will have the same waveform. The output will be, V output will be same as that of the input waveform. This is during the positive half cycle. Now, during the negative half cycle, it can be seen that for the next cycle, means from t by 2 to t, it can be seen here that diode D1 and diode D4 both are on, both are in a conducting form, and diode D2 and diode D3, both the diodes are non-conducting. Non-conducting means off, off means open circuit. So, now the direction of current will be in the opposite direction, something like this. So, again, if we want to measure the output voltage across the resistance R, so this output voltage V0 is same as Vi, and Vi was Vm. So, we can clearly observe here that during both the cycles, means during the positive half and during the negative half, we have positive peaks. Both the peaks are positive, means this kind of circuit basically converts a bidirectional current into the unidirectional, or it converts a AC alternating waveform into the pulsating DC waveform. If we will combine these two scenarios, means during the positive half operation and during the negative half operation, then we can see the overall waveform as something like this. This is V out and the maximum value is Vm, this is T by 2 and this is T with respect to omega t. So, the AC waveform is basically converted into the pulsating DC. This is not the pure DC what we want basically for the appliances. So, after this full wave rectification means the bridge rectifier, we have the next full wave rectifier as the center tap full wave rectifier. So, in the center tap full wave rectifier we have a special transformer. This is center tap transformer. So, in this center tap transformer, the quality of this transformer is that the secondary winding got split up into two parts basically, something like this. So, if we are applying input voltage to the primary side, which is let us say Vi, so the same voltage Vi will be basically induced over the secondary side, something like this. So, a center tap transformer basically consists of a center tap transformer along with two diodes, two ideal diodes and a load resistance R, and the voltage, output voltage will be calculated about the resistance R. So, if we are providing a alternating voltage, AC voltage having a peak value of Vm, then we can see the operation of center tap full wave rectifier as means during the positive half cycle, means during this particular peak for t equal to 0 to T by 2, we can say that diode D1 is conducting means on, whereas diode D2 is off, it is non-conducting. So, once it is non-conducting and the same voltage Vi will be induces to the secondary side as Vi and here also Vi. Now, due to this Vi voltage will try to flow the current in this particular direction and this will try to flow current in this particular direction. So, as a result diode D1 is on and diode D2 is off. So, once this diode D2 is off, so we can calculate V naught and we can see that V naught is equal to Vi, means whatever the voltage we are applying at the input side, the same voltage will be reflected at the output. The same voltage will be reflected towards the resistance of R. This is the operation during the positive half cycle. Next, if we are considering the negative half cycle, means now we have T equals to some T by 2 to T, this negative half cycle. So, due to this now the primary side, this will become positive and this will become negative. So, due to this will become positive and this will become negative, some positive and negative like this. So, if this downward terminal is positive, this will try to flow current in this particular direction, and if this is positive, then the flow of current will be something in this manner. Due to this, diode D1 will be off and diode D2 will be on. So, once this diode D1 is off, it will be treated as open circuit and this will be treated as short circuit, and once this diode D2 is short circuit, we can find out a relationship between V naught and Vi, and we can say that V naught is equal to this particular voltage what we are applying. Let us say this voltage was Vm during the negative half cycle. So, the same output will be reflected to the resistance of R. So, we can observe here that in both the cycles, means in the positive half cycle as well as in the negative half cycle, we received the same peaks. This is Vi and this is V out. So basically alternating voltage, AC voltage is basically transformed into the pulsating DC. The output waveform for both the circuits, means for the center tap as well as for the bridge rectifier, are same. So if the output waveform for both the rectifiers are same, that means the parameters that we want to calculate, which is the RMS voltage, the average voltage, the ripple factor, the efficiency and the PIV rating, right. So that can also be evaluated. So the PIV rating will be different for both the circuits, whereas the other quantities will be same. So first of all is for the full wave rectifier, now we want to calculate the RMS voltage. So RMS voltage for this particular waveform can be calculated as, this is T, T by 2, this is T, this is V out and this value was Vm. So RMS will be root mean square, root mean square. So first of all we will have a root, now we have the mean. Now clearly this waveform will be repeated after a period of T by 2, or you can say this will be pi and this will be 2 pi, something like this. So we have the mean which is 1 by pi and we have the square. So we have Vm sin omega t whole square and with respect to d omega t. Now we need to integrate this. So sin square omega t, that will be 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2, and if we will perform the integration, then we can see that Vrms for the full wave rectifier comes out to be Vm by root 2, where Vm is known as the peak value of output. Vm is the peak value of output waveform. Now we can compare this result with the half wave rectifier. For the half wave rectifier, the RMS voltage was Vm by 2. Now the average voltage, so the average voltage, or we can say the DC voltage. So VDC is again 1 by pi integration of 0 to pi Vm sin omega t and d omega t. So again if we will perform the integration, so this VDC is nothing but 2 Vm by pi. So we can compare the result here that for half wave rectifier it was only Vm by pi, but for full wave rectifier it gets double. We can see this, that first for half wave we have this one as output waveform, and for full wave we have something like this. So for this half wave the value was I think 0.3 times of Vm. So for full wave this value, the DC value get doubles. So this value comes around to be 0.636 times Vm, VDC. So the average value get doubles. Now the ripple factor. Now the ripple factor, basically the output of the rectifier is not pure DC. We have already seen, because rectifier converts the alternating voltage AC into the pulsating DC. So due to this pulsating DC, there is some AC component present in the output waveform. So this AC component is called as the ripples. So the ripple factor basically indicates the magnitude of AC component in the output waveform. So higher the value of ripple factor means higher AC component in the output of the rectifier. So mathematically we can say that the ripple factor is given by VAC by VDC, and there is one more relationship between Vrms. So Vrms square equals to VDC square minus VAC square, and again there is a relationship between current also. So we can change, we can use Vrms also, IRMS also. We will be using IRMS somewhere in the somewhere when we are calculating the efficiency for the full wave rectifier. So, if we will put this particular relationship in equation number, let us say 1. So, we will calculate that this gamma equals to under root of V RMS by VDC whole square minus 1. So, now we just need to substitute the values for VRMS and VDC for a full wave rectifier. So, these values are VRMS is Vm by root 2 and VDC is 2 Vm by pi. So, we can see here that the ripple factor comes out to be 0.48. The ripple factor is 0.48, previously it was 1.21. Now we are interested in calculating the efficiency. We have already seen that for the half wave rectifier the efficiency was 40.6, means we were only able to utilize the 40.6% of the power, 40.6% of the input AC power to the DC power. So, the definition for the efficiency is, it is a ratio of DC output power to the AC input power. So, this is a mathematical relationship, PDC by PAC multiplied by 100. So, PAC is, we are already aware of the fact that PAC is I RMS square multiplied by the resistance. Now, what are these resistances? We have already seen these resistances in the half wave rectifier also, that RL is the resistance for load and this small RF is a diode resistance during forward bias. So, we are already aware of the fact that this RF is very small, that during the forward bias PN junction diode, and if it is ideal then this value is equal to 0. So, we will be utilizing this, and after that PDC is IDC square multiplied by RL. So, if we will use this assumption something like this, that RL is very large in comparison with the internal resistance of the diode. So, we will receive this particular efficiency which is 81.2%, just double that of the half wave rectifier. Means for the half wave rectifier the efficiency was only 40.6. Now, we are able to achieve the double efficiency which is 81.2, means we are able to utilizing the 81.2% of AC input power, and we will be able to transform this much amount of power to the DC power. Now, one more important factor which is the PIV rating. So, we have already seen for half wave that PIV is nothing but the maximum voltage that the diode can withstand during the reverse bias condition. So, if a voltage is applied more than the PIV, then the diode will be destroyed, then there will be breakdown, then there will be junction breakdown. So, the PIV voltage basically is calculated when the diode is reverse bias. So, we have both the rectifiers. First we have the center tapped, and second we have first we have the bridge rectifier, and second we have the center tapped transformer. So, here we can clearly see that, let us say during the positive cycle we have seen the operation also, that when Vi is positive then this diode was off and this diode was on. So, these are nothing but short circuit and these are nothing but open circuit. So, PIV can be calculated in this particular manner. So, if we will apply KVL in this particular loop, then we will calculate PIV equal to Vi, and during the positive peak, during the positive half cycle, what was Vi? Vi is nothing but equal to Vm. So, PIV must be greater than or equal to Vm. This is the PIV rating for the bridge rectifier. Now, if you want to calculate PIV rating for the center tap full wave rectifier, then we can see that this situation was appearing somewhere in the negative half cycle of the input waveform, means something like this, and this voltage was, let us say, minus Vm. So, Here if we calculate PIV, so PIV equal to means we will have V naught plus the voltage applied across the secondary winding, that was nothing but Vm, positive this side and negative this side. So PIV equal to V secondary side plus VR, which is Vm plus Vm. So this will be doubled. PIV rating for the center tap full wave rectifier is doubled that of the bridge rectifier, which is two times of Vm. So here is a small comparison between the half wave rectifier and the full wave rectifier. So first of all, we will see that the number of diodes used in the half wave rectifiers are only one diode is required, whereas for full wave it is 2 or 4, depending upon that whether we are using the center tap or we are using the bridge rectifier. Next, the maximum efficiency we achieved in half wave was 40.6, but for the full wave rectifier the efficiency is just double, which is around 81.2%. The ripple factor, the ripples present in half wave are more, which is 1.21, whereas in full wave it is around 0.48. Voltage regulation is good for half wave, means better as compared to half wave rectifier. Peak inverse voltage we have already seen, for half wave it was Vm, but for full wave it was either Vm or 2 times of Vm, depending upon the configuration. If we are using center tap, then it will be 2 times of Vm. Now the average voltage for half wave it will be Vm by pi, for full wave it will be just double, 2 times of Vm by pi. Similarly, the RMS voltage is Vm by 2 for half wave and Vm by root 2 for full wave rectifier. So these are some comparison between the half wave and full wave rectifier. Now we will see some examples related to the rectifiers. So in this particular example, first we need to sketch the DC output V naught and determine the DC level of output, and again we need to repeat this with the help of a diode, which is now replaced by a silicon. So we can clearly see here that during the positive half cycle, when this terminal is positive and this terminal was negative, then this diode, which is initially ideal, that will be off. This will be off during the positive half cycle, and this same diode will be on during the negative half cycle. So the steps will be, first we will draw the equivalent circuit in both the cycles. So first of all, during the negative half cycle, means in the positive half cycle the diode was what we can say, the diode was off, and when the diode was off we will have output equals to 0, something like this. But during the negative half cycle the diode will be on. On means short circuit if it is ideal, and we can calculate the output. So V output is nothing but Vi. So V output is 20 volt. V output is 20 volt. So we can say here that minus 20, sorry, V output is minus 20. So the DC value will be, we have already seen for a half wave rectifier, because this waveform is something like this. This will be minus 20. This is also minus 20. So this waveform is for a half wave rectification circuit. So VDC is nothing but Vm by pi, which is nothing but nearly equals to 0.318 times of Vm, and the Vm is nothing but minus 20 volt. So if we will replace Vm equals to minus 20 volt, so we receive this DC voltage as minus 6.36 volt. So this is a calculation when the diode is ideal. Now we will see when the diode is made up of silicon. So what will happen, again during the during the forward bias of the PN junction, means again during the negative half cycle, this diode will basically opposes a voltage of 0.7. So, the effective voltage now will be less than 20 volt, means 20 minus 0.7, which is around 19.3. So, previously we have the peak at minus 20, now we will have the peak at minus 19.3 volt. And again we can see here that the waveform for this particular circuit is as per the half wave rectifier circuit. So, again the DC voltage will be VDC equals to Vm by pi, which is now approximately equal to minus 6.14 volt. Now, we have the next question, that determine the output waveform for the network and calculate the output DC level. And we are having a waveform, input voltage, a AC waveform having a peak value of 10 volt, and we have a circuit which consists of two diodes. Let us say we will just name these diodes as D1 and D2, and these diodes are ideal, because I have already told you that when there is silicon or germ, nothing is represented on the diode, then we need to assume these diodes as ideal, and V0 is the output voltage marked about the resistance of 2 kilo ohms. So, first step is during the positive half cycle, means during the positive half cycle we can observe here that diode D2 will be on and diode D1 will be off. So, during the positive half cycle we can draw the equivalent circuit. So, this diode D2 will be on and short circuit, whereas diode D1 is off, means open circuit. So, we are just redrawing this particular circuit as like this, and Vi is 10 volt during the positive half cycle. So, this is V out. So, we can calculate V out as this voltage is nothing but 10 volt. So, the maximum value is basically Vm equals to 10 volt. So, what we'll have is we'll have a voltage divider, because in series voltage is divided. So, across a resistance of 2k and 2k we will have equal voltages. Equal voltages means if 10 is divided into 2 halves we will have 5 volt. So, this is during the positive peak we will have the maximum value of 5 volt. Again we will have the circuit, we will have the equivalent circuit now in the negative half cycle. So, in the negative half cycle again we can clearly observe here that this diode D2 is off and diode D1 is on. On means it is short circuited. So, once this diode is short circuited, again we will draw the equivalent circuit. So, if you are drawing the equivalent circuit, so the final representation for this circuit is something like this. So, this Vi, this is Vi, and Vi was 10 volt, because we are just talking about the magnitude here. So, the voltage across the 2 kilo ohm resistance now, that will again be same, because both the resistances are placed in series. So, a same 5 volt will be developed across this resistance. So, if we will combine these two waveforms, means during the positive half and during the negative half, so we can observe that we will have this kind of waveform having a peak value of 5 volt. So, this is the final waveform. Now, what is the DC value? So, the DC value can be obtained with the help of waveform. So, this waveform is basically it is clear from this waveform that this is corresponding to the full wave rectifier. So, for a full wave rectifier we are very familiar that VDC is double 2 times of Vm by pi, and Vm is nothing but 5 volt, Vm is the output, the maximum value of the output voltage. So, Vm is 5. So, this value will be around VDC equals to 3.18 volt. So, we can clearly calculate the output value of DC, which is 3.118 volt. These are references. Thank you.